الخير جميعا. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for having us. My name is Karim Refaat. I'm the executive chairman and the founder of Gage Consult. We are a company very specialized in public policy and government affairs management. I do not want to make any statements or any conclusions or anything about Gage today. The whole talk is about Techne. Thank you for having us. It's my first time to attend Techne Summit. I'm very proud to be here. I will hope it will not be the last time. Hossam, thank you for you and the government honoring Techne Summit by your presence. I am very pleased to understand that you're the third high official from Egypt that attends this session. So they've had the Minister of Information Technology and Telecommunication, and they also had the Minister of Finance, in addition to our friend Mohammed Farid from FRA, and now yourself. A very keen, very clear message from the government of their support to the startup scene and so on. I know I have been told that this time we have to be extremely efficient in times management for two reasons. One is I am told by Techne Summit that we only have 15 minutes for every panel, and we have to respect this. And second, because you have a meeting and you need to run away. I was trying to understand where to start up from. The whole ecosystem of these startups and young caliber, I'm not one of those. I don't consider myself young. Is about disruption. Is about people who want to disrupt the current ecosystem, people who want to provide new services, and people who, if I understand the value proposition and the offering of this summit, is to link between investors and startup scene and to try to make deals happen. My question to you, and I want to start with this question, how ready do you think the government is to accept that every single thing in our way of life is about to be disrupted? Everything is being technologically driven, the way we book tickets, the way we book restaurants, the way we live, the way we ride cars, everything is about. How ready are we ready? How much are we ready to disrupt the way the government does business to cater for these startups to make volume?
Thank you, Karim, and I'd like to thank Techne Summit for the invitation. It's always good to be actually in this place. It's not my first time. And it's always good to be among startups and entrepreneurs. It is gives me actually positive vibes and positive thinking amid a lot of challenges that we are facing here. Going back to your question, actually, yes, definitely the government, as a prime objective for the government as a whole, we're going towards the change and towards digitalization, towards disruption, as you're putting it. How ready the government body to that? I would say, as any government in the world, they're not always ready as much as ready as the ecosystem itself. I mean, the ecosystem, by definition, are disruptive. So they are up to always changing. So their mind is always thinking. For governments, it's different story. It's actually seeking stability. So you have to understand that the government is not against disruption, but it is the system that they work with is stable. So the idea now for us, or the challenge for us, is to introduce the agility dimension. How can the government be agile enough for any disruption happening to adjust in the time frame that this disruption suits? I mean, because the disruption happens every short period, actually not long periods, unfortunately, especially for AI and what's happening in this dimension. This is the challenge that we are actually facing in this direction. What are we doing about it? It's very important. Of course, we're being hosted by the Ministry of Information and Communication, and they are the leaders of adaptation of the agility of the government and the digitalization process that the government is undertaking. And we're working very closely with them in at least on Gafi side, we are working currently in full transformation for our services, starting from the customer service and CRMs and so on, going through the investor journey, as we call it, from incorporation to the aftercare of companies to the approvals and licensing processes, including sorting and filtering the different fees and levies and the duties being charged by the different government bodies. It's a mega project. It requires the collaboration of more than 280 different government bodies, working on more than 300 and almost 80 types of approvals and licenses, and clustering more than 3,800 different fees and levies being placed for different activities. So you can imagine how big it is. What we are doing it in two folds, fully digitizing these processes so that the investor, be it a startup or large corporates, would simply go into this platform, request for their approvals. In 20 working days, they should be granted these approvals, and they would know beforehand the fees and levies that they should be paying in a very transparent way. So this will entail from our side, which is the second portion of the project, to re-engineer all these processes. So it's a massive project, engaged with us a lot of consultants and companies. We are in the process now of bidding, the bidding process. We hope that towards the end of next month we will be tendering it and kick-starting the project. It should be from 12 to 18 months period. It will be on phases, so you'll see a lot of output coming out of this. Having said that, the tax regime, I'm sure that the Minister of Finance has told you about it, is they are transforming the tax dealings at large digitally. The customs is being now upgraded as well in terms of the process, regulation, as well as the digital processes for it, and so on. So this is what we're trying to do in this area, and we're building a mechanism now to kind of sense what's happening within the ecosystem and see how we can know the information, know what's happening beforehand, and try to work on how we can adapt ourselves to the disruptions happening.
Thank you very much. So the government is not against disruption, but it wants to reconcile between disruption and stability. The government is working on streamlining processes and policies and the tax regime. But let me tell you my understanding about those very smart, agile, fast, adapting tech startups. They would welcome a nicer tax regime, but even if it's a challenge, they will adapt to it and they will push governments to change it, to cater for them, and they will probably adapt and be agile enough to comply with your laws and regulations and your processes, even if it takes a bit more time for you to make them simpler and so on. One thing I think the government can help with is how to create volume and traction and opportunities for these startups. And let me explain why. I understand few sessions that happened before us and that will be happening after us are talking about how to attract investment and how to scale up and so on. So one thing the government could help with is to put a place or a niche market for startups in its government bidding process, in its procurement bidding process. You manage a very intelligent project map. I wonder, is there a space specially dedicated for startups as part of this ecosystem you're running in Gafi? Do you give preference to people who are coming with startups, Egyptian-based startups and so on? How do you help them bring volume to tell an investor that the future is there, we're going to take off?
Okay, of course, let us be frank. The market is the main driver, not the government. Okay, the government is just a catalyst in this process. For the government to do this, the government already is doing it for SMEs. And a portion of the procurement of the government on annual basis is dedicated to certain percentage of this procurement process goes to the SMEs. And what we're trying to do now is that we want to plug in the startups as well. The issue here is that the scale of the government is much larger than the capability of the startup. And this we have to understand it quite well. Secondly, if we're talking about, I'll take example of Gafi. I'm trying to integrate AI into our equation. I have met several companies working in AI. The startups that I have seen, have brilliant ideas, but it's not proven. So can you imagine that I'm going to use AI for a traffic on daily basis coming to us? It exceeds 30,000 investors from all over the world on daily basis visiting us. Would you take this decision on applying something that was not proven for something like that? I don't think you will consider it. Probably, okay? So what I'm trying to do is that, okay, I can help you with my data, feed into you, help you generate more and more intelligence, okay? But I cannot simply go and depend on something that's not really proven. So this is one challenge I'm facing. I want it, but I need to make sure that so the alternative is what? Is that I would ease the doing business for you in the market so that you can grasp this experience and prove and go to market in a more speedy way so that you prove yourself and then reap what you have done with contracts from the government with larger scale than what the market can offer you. Okay, so this is one thing. The second thing, there are other activities that can be taken by the government, and this is what we're trying to filter now through the Ministry of Finance, because they are the ones who are related to procurement procedures and regulations, and they are actually considering that. So we're filtering what type of products and services that can be provided from startups, and help them out in, or integrate them, actually not help them out, it is their right to integrate them into the SME percentage that has been already approved and implemented within the procurement process. So this is one. Two, we're working on funding, for example, and I was just talking with Tariq about it, and we're working now through the what we call the ministerial group or unit that has been created to kind of integrate all the funds that's being offered by the different government entities to avail it to the market and make the market aware of, because most of these funding are not actually known to the market. So we're trying to do this, and very soon you will hear about it. And through these funds, it will help you to speed up go to market. It will help you to speed up your MVPs and your ability to scale up in a much faster manner.
Perhaps a third dimension. I understand you're either already confirmed and approved, or you're recently contemplating the idea of a special free zone for export services, startups, service exporting startups. Of course, exports is high on the agenda of the Egyptian government. We keep hearing about the 100 billion target and so on. But I wanted maybe to shed the light with you on the efforts that are being done to, like you said, communication and avail info to the startups about the funding. Also avail info to the startup about the export opportunities. I know, for example, we're trying to really crack down the African market. Startups of Egypt may not be ready to compete for Egypt because they will be faced against giants, but maybe outside of Egypt they will excel.
Okay, this is a very important question, and I'm sorry to say this, but it is going to be the last question because I'm looking at the clock.
So. It was meant to be one.
Well, this is a very important issue that we need all to work on. It is $145 billion in target for exports, not 100 billion. It has been raised. We have been approaching the 50 now. So we have a very aggressive target, like your startups. Okay? So we have to all work on achieving these targets. What we can say is that the services coming out of Egypt from the ICT sector last year, it was in the neighborhood of $7 to $8 billion US. So you're already contributing to the exports. I think this can be simply doubled in 12, 18 months because the mobilization of services is much faster than production. So, and this can be multiplied as we go. So in doing that, what we thought of is how to incubate these projects into an environment that can help them do the exportation in a proper manner and do the funding as well and so on. And this is what we have done, as you mentioned. We have done two things. One is that we've created a new scheme for free zones. We called it the private free zone, okay, or services, private service free zone. The second thing is that we are doing and actually started to implement is that we started to integrate services into our public free zones, and we currently integrated 3 of our buildings owned by Gafi, and we included them into the free zone, and these buildings will be dedicated for mainly for tech companies, regardless what tech you are working in. I mean, fintech, whatever, prop tech, whatever tech that you are in. And including, as I was discussing with Tariq, innovation center inside this, these 3 buildings. And this is going to be, we're working on it as a pilot. Once worked and the model is, and we're working on integrating the private sector in its management. So we're not going to manage it. It's going to be given to private sector. And it will be done in a very upscale level so that it would attract you as local investors and your fellow foreign investors as well, or startups. So this is what we're trying to do right now, and we're on the process to do that, and we hope that mid next year we will be able to host you on premises in this respect. And once that's done, we are going to spread out this pilot project into our different public free zones, because it's very easy to onboard you in these free zones. And it will be spread out all over the country. And we are making sure that it will be spread out to the different governorates, especially in the Upper Egypt, because we see a very strong potential there, but they don't have the tools or the capacity for someone to absorb them and attract them, with the exception of the universities there. So we're offering our premises as well and our free zones to accommodate them. So this is what we're working on in this respect.
Thank you very much.
One last thing, I'm sorry. We also did in Gafi, we did a fast track lane to entrepreneurs and startups. So we have a unit inside Gafi. It's called the Startup and Entrepreneurs Support Unit. And the people, the team that is responsible of this unit is sitting over there, and they will help you in the fast track in incorporating your companies and we can work on different types of legal frameworks. You can incorporate your company as a single person in a company. It is like the joint stock company, but owned by a single person. And this can be good for software and freelancers and so on if they want to be in the formal sector. And once you are in the formal sector, you will enjoy a lot of privileges through Ms. Mida, and I'm sure you've listened to Ms. Mida's privileges and incentives. And this we help you in this process, or we can help you in other types of legal frameworks that we're offering, limited liabilities or joint stock companies or whatever. So this is something that we have recently introduced in Gafi, and I urge you to use it. And this also is done through e-incorporation platform that we already is in operation here. Okay. Thank you.
I know you cannot ask more questions, and before I thank you, I want just to leave in few seconds what you said. The government is not against disruption, but it wants stability. It will avail the information about funding available for startups. They have created a fast track with the team in Gafi if you wanted to incorporate, and we all need together to work together to export of 145 billion, doubling 7 to 8 billion in 12 to 18 months. And the market will drive the startups. The government is only a catalyst. Thank you very much, Hossam Heiba, Chairman of Gafi.